to meet all of you. You can hear me at the back, right? Why do you guys sit at the back when there's so much space? You have people who are listening here, who sit there. Don't like it? I was always in the back, that's I understand. Right. So we'll keep this as interactive as possible. I don't want this to be your usual guy comes in, you know what the hell he's doing after lunch, you're sleepy, you're fall asleep. I don't want to listen to somebody who's standing in front of you and going on what I want. Right? Let's make this as interactive as we can. Let's ask all the questions that you want to ask. Stop me. Don't wait for a Q&A at the end. I have to point at people and say, you have a question, you have a question. Let's not be very shenanigan about this. Right? Let's make this as interactive as you can make. Okay? Alright. You guys are sleeping after lunch? Everyone's eating? Anybody who hasn't had lunch? Okay, so I'll look to the two of you guys to be most likely. Right. Okay, so when Amri reached out to me, the story he wanted me to do was on Red Bull for you guys. Let's make this session more about how you guys perceive Red Bull rather than how I see Red Bull, because for me, this is my market research, right? This is knowing the people who will with my brand. And for you, let's give you a little bit of insight into what the brand actually goes through in order to create the madness that we do every day outside. Should I move to this side? I don't have to okay, so this picture that you see right now is everyone at head office at Red Bull. We have a beautiful little office in the middle of nowhere in Austria. It's the most secluded and deserted place where an office, and everybody would think Red Bull would stand in the middle of a big city. There would be, elevators in your office and stuff like that. No, we have a ranch made out of glass. There is nobody who doesn't see everybody in office. That's what we call an open culture. Because even the boss sits in his own glass cage, right? So I'll tell you a little bit about the boss because that's where the whole story starts. And we are proud, as people are recruited from everywhere around the world, to work for this one guy who calls the shots for Red Bull. And also, of course, it's a very open-minded culture that we have at the brand. I'm really dressed up to go to work today because Amri said you guys usually wear shirts and pants. We go in t-shirt and jeans. Sneakers are optional. That's how we work, right? So, then I'll tell you a little bit about how it all began and where Red Bull originated and how this idea came about, right? Because as you guys, I are all marketing students, right? So I'm the only one who is not, okay? So as my friends informed, I'm a law student, partly accountant, who ended up in HR and then moved to marketing, right? So I've taken a few turns in my career. Make those choices when you have to, because while you're young, you can still afford to do it. One day when you're married, you've got a family and you've got kids, which I don't have yet, you guys will not be able to do it, right? So, long time ago, have you guys heard of a company called Blendax? No? Right, so Blendax is a pharmaceutical company. These guys make so many different drugs, kind of interesting as well. The kind of drugs that you will not be able to purchase on the open market, it is medical grade, right? So there was a guy who was basically a sales representative for this company called Blendax. He was in Japan, and on a visit, he was surprised by the high amount of taxes that a pharmaceutical company has, right? Pharmaceuticals are technically supposed to be cheap, right? Because you and I need to have access. Because you have to be able to afford it. When you fall ill, the only thing that's going to get you back on your feet is something, which is the drug, right? When he was surprised by this, and he thought, you know what? For the rest of my life, I'll be working for these guys for a low pay. None of it goes into my pocket. I'm not going to make any money out of this. I'm really frustrated, right? So he was walking around, obviously, as young guys do. He took a decision. He quit his job, and he wanted to get into a new drink. Right? How he tasted this drink was interesting because he was after a good night of party, right? As you can see, people, as salespeople do. After a long night of party, he went out and said, "I want to pick me up." And in Japan, he came across this gold can. Have you guys seen the gold can Red Bull? Have you ever seen that gold can? You find sometimes find it here and there. It was called Kraten Dang at the point. Right? It's still called Kraten Dang at the point. Kraten Dang was a start of Red Bull. That initial formula is what he tasted, and that was really sweet. Right? It was really, really sweet. It still remains really sweet. If you take the Kraten Dang can, it would be around red in Sri Lanka. Right? He tasted this can and thought, wow, this kind of stuff is amazing. If only it had a little bit of tang, it had a little bit of fizz, it could be different, it could actually stand for a purpose. Right? Because there is no real requirement for Kraten Dang at that point. Kraten Dang was just another drink. Right? So, this guy, he went back to Europe, he went back into his country, sat down with a few friends and said, you know what guys, we're going to try this drink. We're going to try it. I said, ha, this is just too sweet, it's crappy, where is the fizz? Because if you take the European market, everybody wants fizz in what they drink. Even in their bottles of water, that is why you have flavored water so popular in the UK and in the US and also in most parts of Europe. You go into if you have guys been to Europe, you'll understand, if you go into any restaurant, they'll ask you to want sparkling water or still. I think it's stupid. I think it's funny. Like, why do you want to sparkle your water? And you pay about 10 times more than a normal bottle of water. But people like it, right? That's what consumers want. So he identified that the consumer needs something fizzy. He needs something a little more tang. And of course, you cannot drink this too sweet. Right? It was way too sweet for European consumer. So, after a telephone call at 3 a.m., this story comes when Mateschitz, who I will tell you about, show you who the man is as well, sat down with his best friend and said, he had no company at the time. He was a guy who was doing stuff, he was drawing stuff, drawing cartoons, he was doing art, he was doing designing for different advertisers, including small companies at the time, and he was making a living. And he said, you know what, mate, I want you to come up with a creative idea. And then after many discussions and rounds, his friend calls him in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. and says, Red Bull gives you wings. That's your tagline. Why? Because he's made an energy drink. I'll tell you why we give wings. We don't give people wings. Somebody tried to sue us a long time back for having Red Bull gives you wings. Of course, because it's too stupid to understand. So we get to how Red Bull gives you wings. Right? So at this point, when Red Bull gives you wings came across, this is the Blendex manager as of today. You will never see him on a public appearance. You will never see him coming on TV and talking. You will never see him at an interview. And CNN has been trying for the last number of years and not been able to. There's this guy who came up with this whole idea of a very aggressive, in-your-face kind of brand. Is someone who is camera shy. He does not appear in front of a camera. He doesn't want his team to appear in front of the camera. If you go to any Red Bull event, there's no Red Bull manager or whoever gets on stage. We don't have long podiums. We don't have presentation ceremonies, cash prizes given by Red Bull people. We don't do that. Why? Because the boss thinks it's really stupid. And we agree. That's why we work with him. Right? So this guy came up with this whole idea of Red Bull, which is not personified by people, but personified by the aspirations of the people who are in the market. The idea process came from that. So this is, you guys read Byron Sharp by any chance? Your marketing module? You read a lot of Kotler? Loads of it in all your textbooks. Everywhere, every page you turn with something from Kotler. Right. So I'm not going to tell you Kotler's wrong, Kotler's quite clear. I'm not a marketing student, remember. But there's a new guy who you should actually take a look at reading into, who's got a very different outlook at marketing altogether by the name of Byron Sharp. He's currently known as the modern day guru of marketing. He's a guy from Australia, he's a professor, he's also a professional, he's done a lot of work, hands-on with marketing. So he'll give you the reality of how it really works once you walk out of the classroom. He won't sugarcoat it. Right? So Byron Sharp talks about something called inbound marketing, which is about creating a personality which people will follow and aspire to be, rather than give them a product and say, this is in your face, here you go, buy me, buy me, buy me, buy me, until you beat them over the head long enough and someone buys you. Right? Mateschitz didn't know a long time ago, way back in 1987, that he was building a product, and say, this is in your face, here you go, buy me, buy me, buy me, buy me, until you beat them over the head long enough and someone buys you. Right? Mateschitz didn't know a long time ago, way back in 1987, that he was building a product, and say, this is in your face, here you go, buy me, buy me, buy me, buy me, until you beat them over the head long enough and someone buys you. Right? Mateschitz didn't know a personality rather than just a simple brand, right? So once you make it, when the boss had his session with us in Austria, he had no idea that he built it. His team had no idea they had built it, but they built a personality that people aspire to be. That is why we are extreme and we challenge everything that we do, and we don't do everything that everybody else in marketing does. If you really look at TV, you won't see a lot of Red Bull. You will see very little Red Bull advertisements going on, and that will be very periodical and not constant messaging. Right? So when I was at Unilever, the theory was very different. It had both have its own benefits. There are different ways of doing things. Unilever has a tried and tested method which has been tried for years and years and years. Slightly, sometimes, a little outdated, but sometimes they are 10 steps ahead of the others in terms of product management. Right? Red Bull, 10 steps ahead always in terms of how we're going to do things. But sometimes you will be a little bored because you've got the same reactive market over and over and over again. But when you become a marketer and you get into your marketing as somebody who's going to sell, you'll realize that consistency in any market is key. Right? Which is why Red Bull for the whole world is made in 2 plants. It's made in Switzerland and in Austria. 2 plants are next to each other, made with pure alpine water. I'll tell you about what goes into the can because I have a lot of questions from a lot of people about what goes in the can. Do you have a particular thing to tell you about? Right. So the drink is Red Bull, and this is one of the first advertisements we ever put out. Ugly, right? Would you guys as any marketing managers or brand managers or advertising specialists who had approved this kind of artwork? Is there a time where you had beautiful images in the print papers, they had already gotten into color, so as you can see it's already color, right? So beautiful stuff from everybody else, and there's some ugly fellow saying it's Red Bull. This advertisement failed, by the way. No one understood what this was. But it's what? This is nonsense, somebody's scribbling some stuff. One bug is up there, one bug is upside down. What are they talking about? Do you even see a can? Nothing, right? The advertisement failed. This is his first attempt to advertise Red Bull in the papers. Right? Then he came up with a new one. And these are the famous words which went in the body copy. Right? What is the usual body copy on an advertising tape? You'll have a nice image and it'll tell you everything that's great about the product. He went and put this image with a bull carrying a can and a bottle at the time. Right? Because we had a bottle as well. We had a certain amount of still have a bottle, which is now being phased out. We're moving purely to aluminium cans because of the nature's impact on it. Aluminium, as you know, is natural metal. It will go back into recycling, but cans can't, bottles can't. Right? So he said there is no market for Red Bull, but we will create one. That's what the whole body copy said. Right? People had no idea of energy drinks. People didn't know what this category was. There was no energy drinks category on a shelf. Right? Today you go into APIIT, your energy zone, you have coolers, you have product placement on normal traditional shelf, on your primaries, so all of that. But back in the day, no idea energy drinks. Right? So Red Bull created the category, led the category, and opened the doors up for things like Monster to come in, things like Burn to come in, and it's great to have competitors in the category because your category size improves, it gets wider. You get more space on the shelf, you get more visibility when your competitors are on shelf, not when they're off shelf, right? Which is why it's always important, and the trade laws and all that are coming to say you need to have healthy competition. No one would innovate beyond that, right? If I was the only energy drink forever, I'd be comfortable where I am, right? No one's pushing me, no one's challenging me. You really need that challenge. It's just like in your university, if you want to get your first class, and you know 5 guys can get it, why can I not get it? That's the only thing that keeps you going. For me, it was simply the fact that I wanted a first class so bad I didn't get it. Because I failed one day. Right? My second year at university, I passed 2 subjects. No, 2 subjects I crashed. For personal reasons. Stupid personal reasons. You're young with that. Right? And coming into my second year for the second time, I just didn't want anything below 70. Thanks to that, ended up with the second upper. But if I didn't push myself, trust me, I would just fail university over and over and over again. That's a big story. Right, so with people always great videos, say look. Right. What inspires people to go do these crazy things? It's not the Red Bull in the can. Come on, let's be realistic. What do you think inspires someone to do something absolutely challenging, something crazy in that? No one wants to do anything crazy in this class? Yeah. No one wants to do something revolutionary?
Yeah, it's like
urge for adventure? Where does that come from? Adrenaline, okay? The need for adrenaline, yes. What inspires his need? Okay, I'll tell you what I want to really do in life. I want to jump out of an aircraft at 35,000 feet, right? And I want to go without a chute until I'm at 10,000. I want to do it, I'm going to do it someday. I already planned to do it the next day. It's on you. What makes you want to do it? Why? Why would you put your life at risk? That guy would break his neck, he has nothing to support him. There's no trampoline down there, by the way. He jumped across two people. You don't shoot anything which is with safety nets, by the way. There's nothing with a safety net. If you're on a bike, if you're on a dirt bike, you're doing a mountain road, you're doing a mountain road, you can die. Everybody signs a disclaimer before they do it. Saying that they won't sue and they're doing it because they like it. Which is true. We don't force people to do it. We just give people the ability to go do things. Why? Why do we want to do crazy things in life? Enjoy that moment, the thrill of it. Yes. What else? Push limitations. What more? Passion. Get it close. What more? You're fearless. Yes, that's an attribute of why you would go do something crazy. Live your life at? Exactly. Because you want to live the optimum way that you can live, right? The choice is between making that decision of am I happy being who I am today and happy the way things are, follow the status quo, do everything that people tell me to do, or do I want to be different? Do I want to live the way that I want to live? Right? Right now, am I living the way that I want to live? Yes. I made all the career decisions that I wanted to make in my early 20s to figure out what I want to really do in life. I'm happy, right? Am I going to stick to this one place forever? No. You can have different aspirations at different points in life. But to do the extreme things What Red Bull does as a brand globally and what we are really known for is creating a platform to go to mad things. You understand that a certain audience or a certain consumer segment in a market, now this is marketing sense behind it. You understand that there is a certain number of people who want to do something adventurous, do something extreme, which everybody else is going to watch and say, wow, but nobody wants to do it. So you have spectators who aspire to be this, but who are too afraid to do it. Then you have the guys who are going to boundless to take that leap. He's just ready. He's ready for that opportunity, that platform to go do it. We open up, we give wings, technically, to people who aspire to be more. If you see how Red Bull picks their brand ambassadors to their athletes, we have athletes as opposed to brand ambassadors in the traditional sense. Our athletes or our musicians or anyone who we pick are guys who are starting off. It's not about signing a contract for cheap. Trust me, Red Bull athletes are some of the best paid in the world. And they're best paid at their age category or at the level that they are, as opposed to sometimes the top guy in the industry. Neymar Jr. is a Red Bull athlete, not our most favorite guy right now after the crime incident on the field. Right? But yet, if you take Red Bull, we own 2 Formula One teams right now. There is a fully fledged 38 aircraft Hangar 7, which is owned by Red Bull private airfield in Austria. These are all things that are being done by selling cans, by the way, nothing else, right? And I'll tell you how many cans we sell per year as well, globally. I will tell you how much in Sri Lanka. It's in the millions, trust me, right? It's a lot larger than someone would assume it to be. And if you would think that only people in Colombo and people inside air-conditioned rooms drink Red Bull, that's absolute, to use the right terminology, beg your pardon, bullshit. Right? Your tuk-tuk guy drinks a lot of Red Bull, by the way. He's a guy who works in the night. He's a guy who keeps awake long hours. He has a requirement for Red Bull. Right? You sometimes don't really have a requirement. Right? So, wings when you need them, that's what energy drink like Red Bull will promise you. I'll tell you about why we call ourselves a functional product. We have a differentiator to the rest of the market. We're not another soft drink. And if you're consuming us as just another soft drink, don't be misguided. We are not your everyday soft drink. We tell you to drink only 2 cans a day. We tell you all these things because of a reason. Because Red Bull provides a boost of energy, and we also don't want you to overuse the product, because drinking responsibly is what we want to do. We don't market to kids in schools because we think kids in school don't have, not that they're stupid, the intelligence level to understand that you should stop at some point. Right? Over drinking, over consumption for anything. Even if you drink too much Coca-Cola, by the way, there's a lot of sugar in your system, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. Right? Trust me, I've done it myself. Right? So, what really goes into Red Bull? There's about 1 cup of coffee, which is the 80 milligrams of caffeine that you get. If you drink 1 cup of coffee, you get 80 milligrams of caffeine. That's it. Right? And you have 1,000 milligrams of taurine. You know what taurine is? I'll explain to you what taurine is. That's the one that everybody is working on. And everybody thinks it comes from somewhere. Sugars, of course, because sugars are important to the body. If you want to revitalize the body when somebody is tired, when somebody is studying their hack, sugar is something that stimulates your system, which is why we have a sugar-free and one with the sugar, right? Because if you have diabetes, obviously, you shouldn't be consuming any more sugar. Your system's going to go into shock. Vitamins, there is niacin, vitamin B6, and B12, and pantothenic acid. These are all vitamins that you would take a multivitamin if you take a tablet, right? Why I've said sea level here is differing markets have differing levels which are permitted for the countries. Depending on climate, depending on our body structures, depending on how our ecosystem is, we have to use different levels of vitamin D, for example. Vitamin D is a great way to replenish your system, but over drinking, what happens? Do you guys know? You'll actually be just cleaning it up. That's the science behind it. Right? Is you need to take the right amount into your body, which is why we say 2 cans per day is the key. Right? Okay, taurine. There we go. Taurine is an amino acid. You already have it in your body, it's in your muscles, they won't work without taurine. Right? If anybody says my muscles work without taurine, your sadly mistaken, go back to bioclass. Right? It's also in different food. In scallops, fish, poultry, and also a lot in infant formulas. Infant formula has a lot of taurine because children during their growing stage require high amounts of taurine to grow. You grow faster, you grow better, and you grow stronger because your muscles get the right nutrition level. Right? The myth is that many people believe it comes from the delicate parts of the strongest and most potent bulls in the world. Right? You all have heard this story? Yes? Many times? Sure. How many bulls are there in the world? How many bulls are there in the world? Any idea? Good, potent, strong bulls who can, keep doing this all day long. How many do you think there are? The world has a population of about, I think, the last count, the registered bulls owned by people. You can't just take everyone. There's about 4.8 million, right? How many cans of Red Bull do you think we sell per year? International. So chart about how it has grown there. Globally, how many cans produced in 2 factories per year? Very close proximity. Any idea? In millions? Billions? Billions? How many billions? How many millions of billions? Close. As of 2018, we're selling 6.747, I think, billion cans around the world. This also puts us as the second largest brand value for beverage in the world, and this has been a very tough path for a company starting in 87 to come. Coca-Cola started in the 20s or 1800s or whatever, and yes, they are huge still. That is our biggest competitor, still the largest. Right? So, taurine does not come from anywhere else. It is synthetically produced, obviously, to hygienic standards and also food grade. And this is the chart. Yeah, it's 6.747. Billion cans sold this year. Red Bulls next year, which target we have all taken, and now we're all cursing ourselves for taking it on. We should take the brand to 7.207 billion cans in the world. Right. So that is what we are fighting for, and Sri Lanka is supposed to add another million to this number. It is a task that people like Amri will be taking on, don't we? Right. So,
would it be number 1 who says he's big all over? Or would it be number 2 who says he's bigger all over? Or would it be number 3?
Never underestimate what a Red Bull can do!
these are some of our first TV spots that we came out with. It was about, so the references at the time for the biggest, the strongest, all that was things that we took a deep gap during those periods of time. Different politicians. One was Ronald Reagan, who was the US president at the time. The American movie, they refer to an Uncle Charlie. Have you guys heard of Uncle Charlie? He's a big redneck American. It's the concept of being that American guy, right? So the beat was directly at them, and then you have a few European guys saying, "I'll just make sure that we get my stuff done." It made sense at the time. So all our advertising is always contextual. That is something that you guys need to take back. Contextual advertising is the key for brands to be successful in the current era. It's not out of context advertising. You can do a lot of interrupt advertising, which looks fancy, which looks good. You can do all of that, but unless people find context and relevance to be with me, there is nothing that I'm taking back from. Right? Today, Red Bull sells in 171 countries in the world, except, see, one big very much in the middle in Africa, which we are missing. It's a little difficult to get trade sales done. Companies like Unilever and the Nestle is attractive, but for us being a tiny company which is very closely knit, any reporting line inside Red Bull is just 2 steps to the boss. So I have my boss who sits in Dubai, he reports to someone who sits in Austria, who sits right under the big boss. So it's a very tiny team. Sri Lanka has 8 people who work directly for Red Bull, and then we have the 8 people who work with us very closely, for split marketeers who work on the brand, and it's a total team of 6 people who run the brand, and we sell millions and millions of cans here in Sri Lanka as well. Right? Whereas big companies of the likes of Unilever or Nestle or Coca-Cola are owning 110,000 outlet base, Red Bull services 18,000 so far. So the opportunities for growth for us is still quite large. And you ask me, I can sell 345 if we can. That is what marketers do. We build brand that's strong enough so that price becomes, yes, the marketing makes it there. We have a price elasticity on high value products. You guys really go into a market and see currently Nielsen data is being shown to you guys, and you guys go through it, you realize in the wake of the dollar drastically rising, rupee dropping, us having so much of calamity in the market, all the high value premium brands are still growing at a good double-digit steady growth. All the low-end brands are suffering because they are more price sensitive. So the price elasticity on the upper end of the pyramid is much less when you really get into the marketplace. Read Byron Sharp will tell you a little bit more about how it works. Right. So as I said before, one of the strongest beverage brands in the world. Number 2 on the list right now. And if you really look at it, USA, everywhere. You have just a few other brands which are up on the calendar. Right. Look at Coke, look at the beautiful number here. And that is with having multiple ranges of products, multiple segments in the consumer market, different SKU sizes. They sell about 200 different SKU sizes everywhere globally, only sizes. When you get into the variants, the total number of SKUs that you get no SKUs. So we do. So one can or one bottle. They have, I think, close to about 2,000 to 3,000 plus. And something that also makes me happy is the number 5 is different. The company I used to work with, so I'm really glad about that. Right. So there's very few of the European brands or anybody else who will made it to the number top 15, and Red Bull is proudly at number 2 after being only in place since 1987. You look at all these other brands started way back in the early 1900s or even in the 1800s. Right? So it is a young brand which has really broken through. Right. How do we look at brand love? How do we do our market building? You will not see this kind of chart outside of this room. It's very private. Red Bull looks at marketing like this. It's about getting more users, more often, in more occasions for longer. Right? Occasions is something that we really focus on. Right? We always put value in the occasions that we are looking at, rather than take the product and plonk it in your face at any point of time. We will not go and try to get someone to buy a Red Bull at a point where they need a cup of tea. It does not make sense to you. You might have tea and Red Bull available in the same restaurant, but the purpose which you will consume the two for will be very different. Right? So, my formatting goes a little out because the number 2 equals conversions are up. Right. So, we realized when we started marketing Red Bull, there was a fun story behind it. Let me tell you that. So, Madison had his friend who did KNP, which is now a global creative agency. Carson and Partners rode along with Red Bull, become a massive agency in the world with Red Bull. Right? So we grew together, he wanted someone to go sell this product somewhere. He said there's no market for it, and we'll create one. So how did we create one? There's a little club in Austria where we still have a Red Bull College party every year. About 4 times a year we have Red Bull College party in Austria. And this is attended to by anybody who joins Red Bull again. You still have your after party there because that is the closest place that we associate with the brand. And the first vodka Red Bull in the world was sold at Afternoon. This came about because there was another friend of Manishit's who came and said, I'll try and sell your product, you give me a commission on it. I said, okay, where are you going to sell it? I'm going to sell at clubs, I'm going to sell at restaurants, I'm going to sell at pubs. He went everywhere, everybody said, you're crazy, what is this? You can't sell this, this is a beer. Europe, beer is the thing, right? Everybody drinks beer. Jaeger bombs are the thing. Right? Jaeger bombs used to be drunk with beer. Right? Jägermeister was drunk with beer a long time ago. Now the Jaeger bomb is going to be a Red Bull drink. Right? And when this guy went into Half Moon, that night, it was a dull party. It was a Thursday night, which is why we always have a little after party on a Thursday night. It's a little, traditional that way we keep with these things. Thursday night, he goes into the club, everybody's partying, everybody's bored, no one's dancing, DJ's playing some stuff, there's a band that's cracking on an end. These are not the current DJs who play all this stuff, he's playing probably 70s tunes and everybody's jamming to it. This guy goes in and says, you know what, I'm going to liven up your club. If I do it, you buy my product. He says, okay, this guy goes up, counter, starts cracking up cans of Red Bull, pours it in the vodka, and gives it to everybody. 20 minutes later, you have people jumping up and down, you have people going crazy, the band's playing crazy tunes, everybody's dancing, everybody's doing all the crazy things in the world, to realize that, my God, Red Bull vodka works. Right? So it's a kick me up, keep you up, party on till morning, but you're still a little drunk. Right? You have alcohol policies. Don't do it inside university. So that was the birth of the Red Bull vodka. Why I'm giving you guys this is because you can look at a product in a singular point of view and say you can only drink it at a particular location when you're tired, or you can also find creative ways of consumption. This is increasing your consumption touch points. Right? From a marketing sense, you can take a product and market it as it is, or you can mix it, you can match it, you can get into that location, you can understand where your consumption can increase, because once you know your penetration growth is a certain amount, beyond that, how are you going to grow? You need to grow with consumption. How do you get consumers to have more of it? And this is by increasing your consumption touch points. Right? So this is our start of consumption touch point activation. And we have come to realize that your first can of Red Bull is most of the time consumed while you are either partying or socializing. So which is why we have a separate channel for on-premise, which look after this part of the business. Then we of course have our locations that we focus on. We focus on study, driving, gaming, work, sports and fitness. All locations where we think an additional amount of energy is required for somebody to start. We don't go and market it to you when you're just going for a movie. If you're going for a movie, you'll have the product available, but you'll never have someone come and do an activation something and then you have to drink this kind of Red Bull to watch the movie. No, if you're a little tired, you're after work, you want to watch a movie, but at the same time you're tired, you grab a can and you watch the movie. Just because you like it. Or else you're going for a movie with your girlfriend, she loves it, you don't love it, but you still go because it's your girlfriend who wants to watch the movie, right? And then you know you're going to fall asleep, and you're going to get scolded after the other day, you didn't even stay awake. She has a Red Bull, and she goes to watch your Avengers, which she hates. And then what are all the people doing? Dress up and have each other. Guns and bombs and then hammers. Later. She's drinking Red Bull, but I'll be awake. I drink Red Bull. So that's how it works. Right? Okay, so quickly on the brand personality, because I have sold it off marketing. When you build a brand, right? I spoke to you guys of building a personality or an idea, right? You're buying into this idea of being all of these things, which is what Red Bull talks about. Right? I'll show you a few instances of how we personify the brand and bring it alive. I won't go into all of these in detail. I'll just pick out my favorite ones and show you about the brand personality, which is why I bought into the idea of working for Red Bull at the end of the day. Because the brand I've consumed ever since I was about 14. But coming here, I love this brand so much because we do the unusual, right? So, we are a non-conformist brand. We don't conform to the social norms and rules, right? We are a person who will just shy away and say, yeah, you have a way of doing it, but I have my own way, right? It's like studying. Some people tell you to do 5 hours of study a day, or you'll never pass your bloody exams. I never done 5 hours of study. I didn't do that. Right? I used to do 2 hours, but I make it effective. But these 2 hours, you just lock it into it. But everybody told me I was wrong. Then you guys feel like decided. Right? So, society looks at things in a different way. For example, in Sri Lanka, let's be very open about it. We have a lot of political drama that's going on right now, right? So everybody's trying to pick a side. And then there's the more intellectual of the people who are saying, seriously, you marks are fighting. Should we also be a part of it? We want to be that guy. We don't want to be the guy who picks a side. In nonsense. We will always pick a side if we think it's the right side. For our own reasons. And not because somebody is telling us to. Right? And even if you're voting, the choice is of course yours. It's not because your dad, mom told you. They have a political affiliation at your homes. It's because you have understood what's right for you and what's right for them. Right? So, we are not a do-gooder brand. We are not doing it, oh my God, because it's great for the world. No, that's not the thinking. We do things differently because we think it's right. This is something no one would have had.
Red Bull also stimulates the mind.
People thought Red Bull would get sued for animal cruelty. Right? We don't promote animal cruelty. It was just a joke to take people away from the usual way of being and say, take the message. If someone shits on you, are you going to just keep walking on? You wipe away the shit and get back. Right? Contextual. People can take it in a different sense and say Red Bull is promoting animal cruelty, that it works. It's all okay. Right? The brand is daring enough to go do this because simply we know we don't mean the wrong thing. We mean the right thing, it's up to your interpretation. Right? Anti-authoritarian. We have broken the rules and laws of so many countries around the world. We are lucky we're still in business. France is our greatest example. We were not allowed into France because they were worried that another caffeinated drink would come into the market, and coffee, which is one of the biggest businesses in France, run purely by our very good friends at Nestle. Nescafe technically ran this market for coffee. There was nothing for energy apart from caffeine, apart from Nescafe in France. Right? So many years until Austria signed the European Union Treaty, we were not in France. The only way product went into France was with students like you guys. Everybody used to come to Austria because you go skiing in Austria. It's beautiful here to go skiing. Kids would actually take back loads and loads of Red Bull to realize there's a lot more cars coming in. Right? When they went to the police station, there was a guy from Red Bull who just held the EU accord and said, why are you arresting my people? I'm going to stop you. So Red Bull put the French police in fear of being sued at the European courts. Everybody was released. They said they're sorry. Red Bull has an official apology, which is put on the wall of the boss's office from the government of France for illegally stopping a marketing activity. Right? So this is the kind of anti-authoritarian movement we take. We don't break somebody's laws if it is immoral. We don't do something that will put somebody's life in danger, for example. or somebody has to be taken out of the morality, we didn't ever do it. Right? But where it is still within the legal framework, there is a loophole, nobody is getting harmed, we want to make a statement, we go ahead and do it.
Have there been any instance where you all actually got into trouble because of this personality trait?
Yes, of course. We jumped out of the Burj Khalifa without permission. Rio Christ statue, no permission. The guy who jumped, he lives in Austria now. He jumped in the dead of the night. He climbed the whole thing. He was there until it was right dawn and the right time for the right chopper to come and take that correct picture of him jumping out. He waited for that moment, and in Rio, the police had come. They had surrounded the Christ statue and telling the guy to come off. They thought he was going to commit suicide. And he said, yeah, I had to kill myself at the right hour. Right? So the guy, he said, you come up, I'll jump. I'm going to kill myself. At the right hour, I'll jump and anyway die. So the cops didn't know what the hell to do. They thought the guy was actually committing suicide. Right? So he suddenly ripped off his t-shirt, he's got a Red Bull gear on, and he jumps. As soon as he jumps, he's about to get arrested. They didn't think he had to shoot, they thought he was just going to die. Everybody's trying to bring nets and all that shit. How do we catch this guy? He pulls his chute and he slows across the police, goes to this little tiny street. There were 5 vehicles parked in 5 locations where there might be police and not be police to pick the guy up. He got into one of the cabs, took off his stuff, jumped in a cab, airlifted in a private aircraft to Houston, to our private airfield, where we had the media all gathered to have an interview. Right? So, yes, we have problems. We got sued for that. We had a lot of legal battles to go through. It's good fun.
In that scenario, did your customers have like a different
That is exactly what we want our customers to think. If you are not anti-authoritarian, if you are not that thrill seeker, and if you don't want that additional punch in life, we don't push you to take it. Right? That is why I said we are a personality or a brand image which people either aspire to be or the best. So you have lovers or haters. Right? You can't always be an okay brand. I'm okay, I'm friendly with everybody. You're not a friendly brand. Right? You either love me or hate me. That's what Red Bull is. Right? We are self-ironic. We know how to take, to use the right words, a piece out of ourselves. Right? This is called the soapbox race, which is one of the funniest events we do. These are actually just boxcar cars. You drive it, there's no engine in it. You push it down a hill and people try to run with it. People try to do it. So the funniest thing, the fastest car, all that wins. It's just good fun, it's good team building, it's a lot of entertainment for everyone. We didn't tell them to dress up as now. They didn't. Right? Again, when it comes to being professional about sport, and when it comes to hardcore sport, we play extremely professional. We have our own football team. Anybody who watches football? Yeah. Salzburg Bulls is our own team, which is still a Euro League team. Very small club. We have a few big names now coming into the club. We're trying to develop it as a professional sport for the brand. One thing we do is with cricket, we have campus cricket which is played in Sri Lanka. We had a World Finals played here this year. APIIT played until the semis in the nationals, until the semis. Still a bit tough. But anyway, when it comes to real sport, we're very professional. We have from every discipline of sport in the world, we have some of the top athletes who are Red Bull brand athletes. Sri Lanka has Roshan Dickpala, the current Sri Lanka wicket keeper. Lion Tirivana, who is still suffering through a little bit of going back and forth between being the team and not. We still support athletes even if they are not still the top level because we think bouncing back is a larger story than ever. Right? And also the Sri Lanka Rugby captain currently, Sudarshan Mudukantri, who was picked up when he was just leaving school to be a brand ambassador, and now he is of course our brand athlete. Right? And we are proud to have these guys as part of the team because we don't think the athletes is just another brand ambassador we pay money to. They are supported as one team. They take part in everything that we do, we take part in everything that they do. It's more of being part of the Red Bull family than anything else. Right. Also the ingenious part of the brand, which is where the cartoons come in. We don't do a lot of traditional advertising with people. You will never see a Red Bull ad with people, right? This cartoon is so iconic with the brand, it is so unique to the brand. It is something that we can adapt to any country in the world at any point that we want. The characters will slightly differ. These two guys won't look the same in every market. In an African market, this guy is a problem. And especially if this guy was white and this guy was black, you would have a big problem. Right? It'd be white supremacy over the black. That's how they will see it. Right? Just because this guy's got a dumbbell at a time and that guy's running. Right? But in a more, let's say, for example, in Pakistan, this commercial, the exact cartoon is different. The guys are different. Right? Because when I look at this in Sri Lanka, we use a combination of the global and the local. Because why? We are more receptive. Our people are not as constrained in our thinking as certain parts of the world. They are very much open, right? Because sometimes, yeah, you have people who are going to go on a strike and a pedophilia just because you put an advertisement on TV. And we love those people because they give us a lot more talk. Right? As marketers, you realize sometimes there is nothing called negative publicity. It is a point of view of publicity that you get. Some people will have a positive point of view on what you do. Some will have a negative point of view. You will have to always play with the positive and the negative. You really have no choice. Whichever brand that you pick. I was brand manager for Lux in Sri Lanka for about 2.5 years. At a time where I worked with the beauty industry and the movie stars and all that, and trust me, the movie stars gave me care. Right? They are the worst people I could have ever dealt with in my whole life. They were so tough to deal with, so demanding. All of them want 100 million things, and some of them want $100 million. Trying to get them to understand that to work that way is so difficult. But trust me, working with athletes is a lot more important. I started working with my athletes. Nothing bad about movie stars. I like something. They're really nice people. But majority very tough. But athletes, actually, we start working with people who put their heart and soul and their mind into really doing something crazy. You really see these guys are so driven. Right? You have Deoshan Tikwala, who you on the outside, you see the fun guy, he's crazy, he's an absolute wacko. He parties so hard. You see all of that with the guy. But at the same time, what you guys don't see is the amount of work it puts in being that we get people being in that top slot, being working on the chalk all day. You might fail in the field for one day, 5 innings, 10 innings, 20 innings, but still you put in so much work to go back and start playing. We can all be TV commentators at home, and then if one of the team is wrong, selection is wrong, this one is bad, so it's good. No one sees the hard work there. Right. If you would ask me what the Red Bull marketing mix is, it looks a little different to the other marketing mixes in the world. Because we don't work on a 7P, 5P, 6P, 12P, we have worked about I think 14. What's the number of P's that you can go to? Total is the number. How many P's? 7 P's is the maximum. No, there's about 14 P's in certain cases. People have broken it down into so many P's, it's confusing. Right? Red Bull works very simply on 4 P's. Right? Product, price, place, and promotion. Right? 4 P's, which we have brought in the elements of the different other P's into, but we've broken it down into 4 elements mainly. But you see at the heart of the brand, what we really use in our marketing mix is word of mouth. We want people to try, which is why we sample, which is why we trial, which is why Amri does something called seeding and hacks, which I won't try to explain. It's a little too complicated to go into this short time. We do all of these things because word of mouth is key for us. Events are key for us, sports and culture are key for us. And then we have a media, advertising and editorial. Right? We don't do simple cartoon advertisement all the time. We do content. We talk about things from a perspective that people will relate to. We don't write articles which are horrendous and long. Cosmopolitan has done one horrendous long on first. I'm in love with it. Basically squeezing capital media. But we don't know that kind of do it very differently. Direct contacts are sampling and our student brand managers and our wings team. Right? This is one whole department which is run by students like you. Of course, there is one manager in charge, and the students take control of this. The ideas that come to the table are from my marketeers team. Our student marketeers come with the ideas. They keep thinking day on day, they come back and give us ideas, we think about it, we sit down as a team, we discuss, we argue, we hack each other to bits. Because no good marketing is made without a few arguments. Trust me. You need to know it's professional stuff, it's professional, let's go for a cup of coffee, we come back, let's get back to work. But you need to know when to stop. But no good marketing is ever made unless you discuss and shout and argue, and shout. But you still have to have those heated arguments, because that's when you really dissect the problem and understand whether it makes sense or doesn't make sense. Right? Then we have our opinion leaders who are athletes and our musicians and all who come in the culture segment, which Sri Lanka has not got into very largely as yet. Because Red Bull Music is a separate ballgame altogether for us to be a yesterday. Right. If you take the marketing mix, 4 prongs, consumer collecting, which is mainly done through student marketeers. These guys are the lead on consumer collecting. Sampling, seeding, sales support, hacks, whatever they do is to get more people connected to the brand. That is why it's called consumer collecting. Then you have the opinion leader marketing, which is what we do to our athletes. Event marketing, which is what Red Bull is mostly known for in the world. We're doing crazy events. And then of course, communication in the Red Bull sense doesn't mean communication in the traditional sense. It is the PR that you get out of the events. These 3 create communication for us, not the other way around. Communication at Red Bull is technically what you would call PR, right? Public relations. Right. Quick video on this.
Taking off close that close, yeah. Oh, you know we never will be. We want it all close and close, yeah. We just wanna make you see. Nobody does it better. Close that close, yeah. Oh, you know we never will be. We want it all close and close, yeah. We just wanna make you see. Nobody does it better. Nobody does it better. Nobody does it better. Nobody does it better.
That's what consumer collecting does for us mostly. It's all university students, 4,200 student marketeers around the world. Next year, our student marketeers is going to be a very interesting one because some of them will be taking part in a global competition, which will of course get all universities involved as well. There's something called paper wings, which happens in the world, around the world. In 171 countries where you make paper airplanes and you're trying to throw it the furthest that you can. And depending on your distance, you get to go compete on the global stage with university students from different countries, in 171 countries in Red Bull's private hangar in Austria. You guys are taken care of, guys get to go there, travel, party around, do your airplane, paper plane thing, all of that. And that whole program is run by student marketeers. And whoever student marketeer is in charge of the program, and obviously the people who support the program who work with him, will obviously fly to Austria to take part in it as well. Because we are a very tightly knit company, as I said. We don't see a difference between a student marketing team and the Red Bull management. Work is one. Right? So these great big initiatives are done by them. We have a challenge called Can You Make It, where people travel from one end of Europe to the other end, purely trading Red Bull cans. That is your only currency. There's one team who was really smart last year. We still haven't introduced it to Sri Lanka, but we will very soon. There was one team who traded all the cans that they had by articles. They were the smartest. They would have a cocktail stall, they sold cocktails all day long because they cut a deal with the bar. And they sold all the cocktails and all the money was theirs. They traded the cans with everybody else. They're trying so hard to get through Europe, through hardship, through snow, through traveling in the backs of pickups and stuff. One team just sold the can, paid their money, took their flight, went down and sat down in Austria and said, guys, by the way, we just got you already. And they were to laugh in the middle of the bar. So that's how smart uni kids are, man. We never thought anyone would sell the cans and buy an airplane ticket. So they came up with it, they never thought it would happen. But it did, right? Which is why we put a lot of prominence into us within marketeers. Because it's the next line of thinking that we want. You guys are the next line of thinking that we want to pick out and make into the management of the companies. Because it makes simple sense. If you are young, you can think. If you are on the verge of cracking great ideas, you guys are what we need, right? I won't get into a lot more. Opinion leaders are mostly in terms of athletes and also our culture segments. Right? But what I want to focus on is you can either get opinion leaders who are soulless banners, who represent nothing, who have no personality, but what you get them to do, or you can get people who have a personality consistent with your brand image. If you guys ever go out and you do your own thing, or your brand managers or marketing managers have to pick your opinion leaders, pick people who are not soulless banners. Not someone who's gonna take a page of food and say, this is great, this has something in it, and next day morning they've woken up at another restaurant and said, this is also great, that is also great. So if you see a lot of your Instagrammers online right now, that's what they do. They do about 20-30 brands, all the brands pay them a great amount of money, and they just go talk about it. Some people buy into it, some people don't buy into it. Right? You'd rather have somebody who reflects your brand rather than have a soulless brand. You get what I mean? Right. Okay. Can you see what's wrong in these two pictures? Now, these are the coolest opinion leaders we have ever had. We never paid these guys. Can you see what's wrong here? One guy is a monster athlete. He's a monster athlete drinking a Red Bull. This guy is a bird athlete drinking a Red Bull. Right? Really shows you which brand you will pick. They never got their contracts renewed by the way, because they got caught doing this. Right? We didn't pay them to do it. They did this after the competition because they wanted Red Bull. British Spears, as soon as she signed a deal with Pepsi, had a big problem. She lost her contract. You remember she did this massive campaign? I don't know if you guys are young, old enough to know. She did a massive campaign for Pepsi. As soon as she did the campaign, videos were out, all that. 2 days later, her contract was in crap. She was in courts. Pepsi had taken her and sued her this because she walked out of the show drinking a Red Bull right after the show. Right? Some guy picked it up. Put it all over there and said, Spears doesn't drink Pepsi. Spears drinks Red Bull. So she became one of our brand ambassadors. Yeah, and these things like small talk. For example, Burn. Right? These guys, the sales girls who are doing Burn, who ended up drinking Red Bull right next to their selling stall, got captured, went viral, and thanks to these two, Burn was out of this market. You know where this was? This is somewhere in Amsterdam. Right? There was the reason why we take people to promote our brand or sell our brand. Selling our brands on the job, we have no choice. When we have people promote our brand, why we have people who are intellectually sound, people who are from universities, who have education to support them. You think, if I'm in the branding, I should be doing something else and being bought on my own. Let's make sense out of this in the marketing. Right? Right, culture. Last one.
moving target. In a possibly related story, Billy Joel last night performed a 14-hour concert.
I'm just gonna drink the Red Bull.
Three Red Bull bags.
Red Bull. Red Bull.
Culture works in a very different way. You can't do what you do in sports and culture. You need to integrate it into the market. You need to also speak to a variety of people who are speaking about brand through your market. The picture that you saw of Britney Spears, that was the picture that we got on the US right after a shoot. Tying up with these artists, doing major mad things with them has been something interesting, which is where the birth of Red Bull Music is. Red Bull Music has recorded for artists like Pharrell Williams to people like who's that guy, Steve Green, to a lot of very interesting artists who are very unconventional in their approach. Right? Because we don't work with every artist. You see, we want to work with Madonna because Madonna's got style, she's got crazy. Johnny Depp, Jack Sparrow. One of those interesting guys who has come on screen, right? So we work with people like that because they make sense to our brand. Again, not a soulless banner, but somebody who reflects the personality of the brand, right? So I will not go into much detail into events because, of course, I'm sure you guys have all actually seen or been a part of a Red Bull event at some point in your life. There's something wrong with this. I won't go for anything else but this. Very simply, why we do events is we bring a brand world to life. We bring about what we really stand for and stand out. If you guys are part of levels right instead of the beginning, trying to play against the high tide, trying to cross a rope, trying to fish in the waters, not real fish by the way. All that to be done by 4 people in a team with coordination, going for timing. All this is about challenging body and mind, and that is where we come in. Our timelines are finalized in body and mind. All comes in data, which is why we do events. Even campus cricket is played because of that, because we think university students don't have a platform to play cricket at an international level. Because once you start the studies, you're done. Sri Lanka, where you go and play cricket again, right? Because you have to do your studies. But we try to create that platform, which is what we try to do every time we do an event. Every time we do something new, that's what we want to do. So come next year, we have a brand new story coming up. Amni knows all about it. Which we will soon be revealing by January or February of next year. We want to take a twist on the traditional New Year, which is also traditional, but we have also forgotten that there is a lot to do with traditional games and sports in Sri Lanka. We have totally forgotten that side of our tradition and culture. We only have Laozi or Bhutan. What do we do on all of the day? We sit at home, watch President doing his Kiritra, eat the Kiribati, and then everybody's too tired to do anything else. You sleep till about night, if it's in the afternoon, and everybody gets drunk. Right? Some people think you're not going to be realistic. Right? Some people don't. Maybe you don't. Maybe you do too. But what more can you offer during New Year? Right? We have totally forgotten that we have a rich culture, a rich heritage, some fantastic games that we have sometimes introduced to the world. Right? People don't know where it really came from. It actually came from Sri Lanka. For example, the Greece pole is something that originated here, which is played in different countries, but no one really knows where it came from. Sri Lanka started it. Right? So we still have no clue. But we're gonna do a total Red Bull twist to things, bring something different to life next year. Right? I won't get into this video, it's too long. Communication is
How do you like cupcakes? Design, Lord!
Wait a minute, darling. I just let my hair down.
Ooh, too short by a hair's breadth.
You just have to wait for my hair to grow.
I'm gone bald by then.
Well, hair day goes tomorrow.
All you need is a Red Bull.
Why? Because Red Bull gives you a win.
Yes, but it also stimulates the mind, so get downstairs and open the blooming door.
Right? That's you guys know Rapunzel is a cartoon, right? You must have seen this as kids. We try to take a dig at things. It makes sense. Why do you want to climb some of this? Go downstairs. Or break it down if you really have to. Right? Cartoon campaigns, usually we don't use scientific evidence or anything to communicate the efficacy of the product. We use very simple things like humor and situational relevance and functionality in the sense that duration to communicate to our cartoons. Right? That's all we do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wind up with one of our very famous cartoons, and then I'll show you one last video, which is just boom into the world of robots.
Na, Leonardo, was zeichnest du denn da wieder?
Ein Fluggerät. Es wird erst erfunden Jahrhunderte.
Komm, ohne Flügel. Das sieht ja aus wie das Fass von Diogenes.
Dies, liebe Freunde, ist eine Dose und das Fluggerät darin wird ja zum Trinken sein und Red Bull heißen.
Ein Stier zum Trinken mit Flügeln. Leonardo, bitte bleib am Boden.
Warte nur ab, der Eins, Sie werden alle sinken, Red Bull verleiht fliegen.
Na, da wünsche dir alles Gute, Leonardo.
That got us into a lot of trouble. What it at the end says is, you're no Da Vinci to Leonardo. Everybody got very, very confused because there was a artist who started drawing around Europe using Leonardo da Vinci as his tagline. And he started doing graffiti, which is a big adage to say, you don't know Leonardo da Vinci just because you bring it. We took a diss at our own selves. So just because we drink a Red Bull and go drawing stuff around Europe doesn't mean we become Leonardo da Vinci. That is where that campaign originated, because that is where the brand is. We can't even take a dig at itself. Right? Final one, I think thank you for all of you for being here, and there you go. Thank you very much, guys. Remember one thing, lessons are born in extra time. Right? So your studies are never done, you pull those extras, grab a can, start studying, because I think you're going to find this. So it's a final stretch, extra time is where you really have those lessons go on. So football story, but yes, you can. Yeah. There it was. We sell enough cans. No, if you really ask me, consumer collecting is all about getting people to try it. If you want you guys to try it, half can. If you really buy a can, you drink the whole can, then you go drink half the can. Yeah, it's not how consumption is done. If you want to get the try the product, I can try using soap, I will sample it and example. But you have about a half shot. Any other questions? Anyone else? You have this? Yeah. Right. That's an interesting one. I've been debating this with international for the last 6 months a week. Because I come from a company which believes in a lot of variant. And I came to Red Bull, one thing that was really great was one of the bosses to buy, they said, don't variant too early to a market. It makes no sense. You really look at it from a marketer's lens. It's exciting to bring new things in the market, right? Because like doing new flavors, this and that. But very simply, at 18,000 outlets, when there's 110,000 in the market, you want to first take your product to 110,000 outlets, or do you want to bring a variant and go off the shelf at the So, simple commercial sense. And also, market readiness of bringing a variant, particularly clear. But yes, if you're bringing it, we first bring chocolate. This should be yellow can, which tastes amazing. Or the coconut berry, which is the white can. It's coconut and blueberry. So it tastes really good. Anything else? No more variant problems? confident we can. Hungry Bison. He loves you guys so much. Nothing more?
Can I just ask, do you really need your traditional way of aspect with artwork and all? Because word of mouth, you're that sort of cheap sport, yeah.
You have things I have, but I didn't have my cartoons as well. Because the cartoons are what I used to be able to go with controversy.
So is it still as important?
It is the core of what we do as advertising. It's purely our core advertising. We don't have any other ads. Our events don't build brand. Our events create excitement. But the brand building happens to the advertising. It speaks of the brand personality. Yes, personify it. It brings it to life. But the messaging is done from our body. Regular radio spots are very well. All this should be there.
Thank you, Indra, for seeing looking you very good. I'm taking off you. No, so last thing, if you want any company on your skydive trip, if you are willing to help out, then
Thanks very much.